What's good, YouTube? Hey, we got another different video today. We got 15 giant animals you didn't even know existed. Shout out to the finest with this video. Hey, let's check out 15 giant animals you didn't know existed. I'm not going swimming in the ocean. That's me. That's how I feel. With my friend, my boy Max, if he's watching, shout out to you, Max. Every time I went down to New York with him, I didn't go in the ocean because I don't even like the ocean in general. Why would I go in the ocean? So if I would never go to the ocean back at home, why would I go in the ocean over there? It's just a mindset. We only discovered 5% of the ocean, 5%. And y'all going to swim in there? Count me out.
All sorts of fascinating creatures, many larger than yourself. You'll need to be prepared, however, because several may consider you a tasty snack. From the shark that is seldom encountered—
Sharks. Hammerhead sharks. Whales. Dolphins. Who else? The megalodon. I don't know. A lot of things will say you're food.
alive to an 8-armed Japanese monster of the deep, here are 15 giant animals you didn't know existed. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to
Go sub over to the finest.
our channel, and
link and everything in the description for the finest.
Click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. That being said, let's begin. Number 15, Frilled Shark.
A frilled shark? What the hell is that?
I don't know about you, but the very thought of meeting up with a shark keeps me out of the ocean. With thoughts of their razor sharp
Me too.
teeth racing through my head, I'll happily leave those encounters to someone else, thanks. Aside from its frightening appearance, the frilled shark is known as a living fossil.
It's like an eel.
It lives in the deep, dark depths of the ocean floor and closely resembles Lord Voldemort's deadly snake companion Nagini from the Harry Potter series. With a head like a lizard and a body like an eel, this thing is ugly. Not much is known about the frilled shark, even why it's called one. At first glance, you wouldn't think it was a shark. However, it's recommended as one because of its internal structure. Gills around the throat make it look more like a sea serpent, and the red fringe around them is what led to its name. A monster of a creature, it has 300 teeth aligned in 25 rows. And if that's not weird enough, they all face backwards. It must make eating difficult.
That means if it bites you, bro, you're done.
Not only that, but they also lack fins, meaning they hover rather than swim. Now that I would love to see, from a safe distance of course. Even though frilled sharks aren't the biggest animals in the world, do consider the size of it in this picture. Compare the kid to this horrifying looking thing. It's pretty gigantic if you ask
I'm good, bro.
me. If I ever see one while swimming, then consider me gone. Number 14, Giant Squid. With so many supernatural monsters, spirits, and demons in Japanese folklore.
No, I'm afraid of squid, but I've had fried squid and y'all taste good. I'm probably good with squid. Give me a knife, stab him, pretty much.
A surprise visitor on Christmas Eve 2015 had residents wondering if their eyes were deceiving them. A real-life sea monster was spotted by visitors chilling out on a pier overlooking the water in
but giant squid is crazy. I don't think I'm finding a giant squid on
Toyama Bay in central Japan. Measuring 12 feet long, the monster was a giant red and
Why do you come to us?
12 feet is crazy.
I just want to keep my family safe. If you want to,
a giant red and white squid taking a quick dip in the bay, much to the visitors' surprise. It turns out that, although giant, the little chap was merely a juvenile squid, and at almost 4 meters, quite small.
That's only a juvenile squid at 12 inches.
Considering they can grow
12 inches, 12 feet long.
up to 13 meters. Giant squids normally spend their lives in the depths of the open ocean, so to be able to get so up close and personal to one was more of a treat than a terrifying experience. In fact, they are normally found washed up on the shore after they have died. In 2004 and 2012, Japanese researchers were able to get images of these live giants by luring them up to the camera. However, the researchers had to make the journey several thousand feet below the surface.
That's crazy. 7,000 feet, several thousand feet into the ocean. That's like ocean bottom, bro. It's like they're like in the black. They're black. I can't do that. My anxiety will be crazy. Like my anxiety will be different, bro.
Surface. One of the Toyoma Bay visitors was diver Akinobu Kimura. He simply jumped in the water with his submersible camera and obtained video footage that has been described as the most detailed and up-close viewing of a live giant squid yet. A bold move, Kimura lived to tell the tale, saying his curiosity was way bigger than his fear. Luckily, it all turned out well for both diver and squid, with the giant fella disappearing out to sea not long after the encounter. Number 13. The Chinese Giant Salamander. What looks like an oversized
Salamander is crazy.
Mexican walking fish, the Chinese giant salamander is so critically endangered it's facing extinction. The largest amphibian in the world, they grow up to 2 meters long and are very rare in the wild. Millions are kept in.
That's why I was going to extinction. Chinese and Japanese people making soup out of them niggas.
In captivity, but they're not the easiest creature to look after. There are 3 species, with the South China being the largest. Each requires targeted and separate conservation management to save them from dying out altogether. According to zoologist Samuel Turvey of London, UK, and his colleagues, those left in the wild must be located and species-specific breeding programs introduced. They have analyzed DNA taken from liver, muscle, and bone samples of 41 of the salamanders to help them find out more about the mysterious species. The genetic analysis showed that the 3 species were separated between 3.1 and 2.4 million years ago. This period coincides with the rising up of the Tibetan Plateau, which could have isolated the giant salamander population. Today, they are extensively moved around by Chinese farmers, making it difficult to determine their origin. Of those caught in the wild, some may have escaped from farms or been deliberately released, but it's believed that the original population has been almost completely wiped out. Number 12. Nomura's jellyfish. Measuring almost 2 meters across and as heavy as a male lion, it's hard to believe.
Wow. Heavy as a male lion? That's how jellyfish are that heavy, bros?
This jellyfish is just 6 months old. The size of a child's palm at first, the Nomura jellyfish is now larger than an adult human. With no bones to nourish, no complex organs to maintain, and very little energy wasted on swimming, the Nomura jellyfish's sole purpose is to grow. Drifting with the currents and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake, this deadly creature prefers plankton to people and is only responsible for the loss of 8 human lives. Because of their size, humans are not on the Nomura's menu. Although large, they have tiny mouths, and that's plural. Yes, these jellyfish have hundreds of mouths. Mouths so tiny, they're virtually invisible to the naked eye. Imagine how handy that would be at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Well known for their greed, the species costs Japanese fisheries serious damage each year, with many looking at ways to turn this invasion into a resource. And
Look at that. Look at
each year, with many looking
next to it. Look. And y'all want to go in the ocean, bro?
at ways to turn this invasion into a resource. And the bad news is, these guys are multiplying. Their sudden population explosion has been linked to climate change and overfishing. Number 11. Blue whale. The fact that these giant mammals are larger than dinosaurs doesn't mean much, really, considering none of us were alive to see the comparison. So let's talk about numbers instead. An adult blue whale can weigh up to 190 tons.
190 tons. That shit is knocking over a boat.
and measure just over 30 meters long. To put that into perspective, the largest mammal on Earth is bigger than 25 elephants or 115 giraffes. Today, there are between 10,000 and 25,000 blue whales left in the ocean. This may sound like a lot, but it's not enough to save them from extinction. Until the end of the 19th century, blue whales were abundant in nearly all oceans on Earth. Unfortunately, they were almost hunted to extinction.
What's killing them? The megalodon.
By whalers until the practice was banned by the International.
I think the megalodon is still out there somewhere. That's what I think. That's how I feel. But leave him be. Let him be him. Stop trying to find that man.
National Whaling Commission in 1967. The commission estimates that between 1868 and 1967, almost 400,000 blue whales had been caught in whalers' nets. Between the male and the female is the larger of the two. Their bodies, however, are long and slender, and instead of blue, as you would expect, they are a slightly darker shade of grayish blue on the top and somewhat lighter underneath. With a diet that consists almost entirely of krill, the blue whale obviously isn't a fussy eater.
What the hell is fucking krill? What is that?
Play War Thunder now. Join millions of players across the globe in massive battles on tanks, aircraft, and helicopters in the most extensive vehicle combat game ever made.
Yeah, man.
He isn't a fussy eater. Number 10. Giant Sea Lizard. With countless razor-sharp teeth and dull green eyes, this deep-sea predator would make a great addition to any horror movie. Forget our mechanical shark friend Bruce from Jaws. This bottom-dwelling lizard fish has a reputation for making almost anything in its path dinner. The ocean is home to many spectacular sea urchins, including the beautiful purple orb, glowing UFO jellyfish, and googly-eyed squid. But the giant sea lizard doesn't care. Not fussy, it devours them all and starts looking for more. A rather bizarre species at home in Australia's eastern abyss, the sea lizard is an ambush predator, lying in wait for its unsuspecting prey. Hunting at
look how small it is. Like, it gotta be an ambush predator.
depths of between 3,000 to over 8,500 feet, this terrifying monster of the deep is largely just a mouth with a tail, and one bite from its razor-sharp hinged teeth, and there's no escape. It eats anything and everything it comes across, including other lizard fish.
Wow, he said he's grimy.
Fortunately, they have both male and female reproductive organs, so there's no issue when it comes to reproduction. Whether this is good news or not, I'll leave up to you to decide.
They have a male and reproductive system, so they can reproduce themselves as is if they want to. That's crazy, bro.
Number 9. Dragonfish. To be honest, this fish doesn't even look real. Not only is it extremely long, but it's also
I have never heard of a dragonfish before. No.
really flat. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to navigate its own body, let alone the ocean. This giant oarfish washed up in the Philippines in 2016, with many residents very excited by its beaching in Al Bay. In fact, the locals were ecstatic.
Is it like that little fish from Finding Nemo, like when it had a little light on it?
As it's very rare to see an oarfish because they don't pop up very often. These strange creatures resemble sea serpents, but much about them remains a true mystery of the deep. The dead fish measured 4 meters long and weighed 50 kilograms, and while it is the largest oarfish to hit Philippine shores, it is by no means the biggest ever seen. In 2013, California's Catalina Island played host to a 5.5 meter specimen that washed up dead on the beach, but the record stands at a whopping 11 meters. Speculation is
I don't know why I'm honest. 11 meters?
rife as to why they sporadically wash up dead on the shore. Some believe their unusual body shape means they are easily injured, where others suggest changing currents and shifting distribution of their food source is to blame for forcing them to spend more time in the shallows. Number 8. World's biggest bat. No.
Hey, shout out to define us with this video. Hey, I'm gonna link part 2 tomorrow with the other part 2 of the last video. I appreciate y'all. We're growing each and every day. Hey, I, hey, just continue to support the kid, continue to grow with us, and we just can continue to make noise in this YouTube business. Hey, without further ado, it's been Mike, it's been real. Peace.